So you want to know what Medicaid actually pays for a non-emergency medical transportation business. And in this video, I'm going to give you the real numbers, the actual dollar amount per ride, the mileage they even pay on top, and even how the money comes from Medicaid to your account. But I'm also going to show you the side of these payments that nobody's making videos on. For some reason, no one ever talks about it because the biggest Medicaid company in the country just went bankrupt. And the math that took them down is the exact same math that you're building your whole business on. And at the end, I'm gonna pull the actual rates we charge in my own company. So you can see for yourself the difference side by side on which business you wanna build. But now before I get into the numbers, let me tell you quickly on why I'm even worth listening to. I'm Joe, I'm a nurse. I spent years working in the ICU, that means intensive care unit, the most intensive floor in that entire hospital. Then I moved up to running an entire assisted living facility. Now I run my own non-emergency medical transportation business. So now I'm the one setting the rates and making sure the rides are getting fulfilled every single week. So everything I'm going to show you and give you in this video comes from me inside the actual business. And I'm going to show you where the numbers actually change from state to state. So I'm going to tell you that straight up instead of giving you some fake magical pretend numbers that doesn't count for your state or is for the whole country, which is not. So let's start on how the money actually moves, because most people think Medicaid is just sending you a check every time you drive someone around. And in most states, this is actually wrong. This is incorrect, guys. What actually happens is Medicaid hires a big middleman and the broker controls all of the rides. So a patient books a ride through their portal, let's say the Medicaid portal, right? Then Medicaid hands it off to the broker. Then the broker hands it off to one of the transportation companies like yours. So after the ride gets done, the broker is the one that pays your company. So if you go the Medicaid route, you're actually essentially working for the broker, not Medicaid. And the broker decides which rides you get and what every single one of these rides pay you. They could be $5, they could be $10. That's crazy. So the big names you will hear are companies like MTM, Vayo, Modivcare. You'll be signing up under each of them or one of them. But I want you to remember that last one, Modivcare, because they're coming back up real quick in a minute. All right, so let me show you the actual real numbers. Every state pays you differently. That's the honest truth. Anybody giving you one clean number for one fits all state is misleading you. But I can give you the real ranges. For a wheelchair ride, which is the better paying ride, most states are looking somewhere between 40 to 60 bucks, all in. That's the pickup plus the mileage, and the mileage price with these brokers are usually only 50 cents to $1 a mile, which is crazy. And if it's a regular ride where the person can walk, we call it ambulatory, you're under that pricing. So when somebody online tells you they're doing hundreds of dollars per ride for Medicaid, they're either talking about something completely different or they're just trying to sell you something. Now, whenever that number turns out to be in your state, that rate is fixed. Thing is, guys, listen up. The broker tells you what the ride pays, and your only two options are to take it or leave it. The thing is, there's a whole other line of other companies and other vans behind you that will happily take it off your shoulders and your hands if you don't. So there's no negotiating your way up over time. And there's no raising your prices every single year because gas went up, right? You simply can't. The broker just keeps paying you whatever they feel like. Then there's the part about when you actually get to see any of the money. Because before you run a single Medicaid trip, you have to get approved. And depending on your state, that approval takes somewhere from 2 to 3 months. And for some people, it's not even guaranteed you'll get approved at all. Think about it. You waited all that time and you might not get approved. So picture this. Most people start off buying a $30,000, $40,000 van, then they go apply with these brokers, then their van is just sitting in the driveway while they're making payments. Now, they're waiting for the government just to say yes to them. Every month, it just sits there. Insurance, car note. Now they got a van that can't take a single Medicaid ride until that approval actually comes through. So now do the math with me on these rates. Say your state pays 50 bucks a ride. So out of that 50 bucks, you're covering insurance, gas, the van payment, and maintenance. So what you're actually keeping off each ride actually might be half of that or less, which means to get to even 4,000 to 5,000 a month, you're running 12 to 14 trips a day, literally morning to nighttime. And if you're a nurse, like a lot of people I coach, that's the exact grind you want to escape. You don't want to hop in that, except now you have a van loan to take care of. Now, if you're thinking, I'll just outwork the broker rates, let me tell you what happened to Modivcare, that big broker I mentioned earlier back. They're the biggest one in the whole entire country. They handle something like 70 million rides a year. So they sit on top of the very Medicaid system, taking their cut before any transportation company even sees a dime. And in 2025, they basically went bankrupt. The whole company fell apart. And everyone that put money into that lost it. And the crazy part is the demand was even stronger when that happened. More people needed rides than ever before. The thing is, the money running through that broker system is so thin that even the company on top couldn't even survive it. So be honest with yourself real quick. I want you to be honest. So if the giant of the whole entire industry couldn't keep up, what's gonna happen to a brand new company with one van that's living off the exact same rates? But real quick, before I pull up what we charge, if this is helping you out, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and that like button, because I put out the honest version on how this business actually runs and works, and the numbers the gurus like to just skip over. And if you're already thinking about starting one of these non-emergency medical transportation businesses, there's a link down in my description to book a free call with me, and I'll look over your exact specific state, your situation, your numbers, and what they will actually look like for you. All right, back at it. So here's the comparison I promised. The way we actually price rides in my company. We run a thing called private pay. That means the client or the family pays us directly. So there's no broker, there's no middleman, and nobody decides our prices for us. And on a wheelchair ride, our base rate for that pickup is $90. Then it's $4 a mile after that, not 50 cents. And we set a minimum trip too. So even the shortest little ride is at least 90 bucks. Then if it's after hours or weekends, there's an extra fee. And let's say there's an extra passenger that wants to ride along. That's another fee on top of that. And if they want us to wait at their appointment and bring them back, we charge for that wait time too. So the same trip, Medicaid would have handed me 50 bucks and they would have told me take it or leave it, the same trip is $90, $100, even sometimes more, at rates that I get to set myself. And when gas goes up, I raise my prices. Now, I know some of you are thinking, who the hell is paying 100 bucks a ride, right? And the answer is way more people than you think. Think about your grandma. A lot of these folks own their houses outright. They have savings, and half of the time their kids are booking these rides. And what these kids are thinking is, I need someone that I can actually trust to transport my mom with care. So if you're a nurse or you just worked in healthcare at all, you walk into a dialysis center or assisted living home, you sit down with the person who books transportation, and they will trust you way more than some random guy who just bought a van. So you leave your rates, you build that relationship, and when they like you, they'll contract you on your rates and keep sending you clients after a week. So none of this private pay side needs Medicaid permission at all. You're not gonna be waiting 2-3 months for somebody to approve you. You can start on this week if you wanted to. So what we do is build the private pay side first. You're out signing up with facilities and running private paying rides during these exact same months, while everybody else spends time staying on a van in a driveway that's waiting for a Medicaid approval. And then once you get approved and private pay is paying you every single month, and if you decide, hey, I wanna get paid by Medicaid, the government, you can add that on top as an extra bonus. But the thing is, most people do this in the opposite way. And that order is the reason so many people give up before the business ever pays them a single dollar. And right now, I got a couple right now down in Georgia doing the exact same thing. Husband and wife, and pretty much they have their van locked in. Their insurance is closing and they have a discharge plan already calling them, asking them when can they get started. Now, I'm gonna be very straight with you. They're brand new and they haven't collected their first big check yet. So I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that they're pulling in $10,000 a month, because they're not. But they built it the right way, so now they're gonna have money coming in while people are still sitting there and staring at a van while waiting to hear back from the government. So the real answer to how much Medicaid actually pays these real businesses, depending on your state, somewhere from 40 to 60 bucks a ride, then 50 cents to $1 per mile after that. So the thing is, you can negotiate that starting 2-3 months after they decide to let you in. And look, Medicaid rates aren't evil. The broker work could be volume that you can add on top as a nice bonus. Just don't build the foundation of your whole business because we watched the biggest company in the whole entire system collapse trying to live off of that money. If you want to, I'll sit down with you, look at your specific state, then we'll go through what private pay rates look like for you in your situation and what it will actually take for you to get started. The link for the free call is down in the description and it doesn't cost you anything. And I know a lot of you are thinking, how much does it take to actually run one of these businesses? And the honest answer, it really depends on your state. Some states are way cheaper to start. So get on a call and I'll walk you through the real numbers for whenever and wherever you are. But all right, I'll talk to you soon.